I'm starting my sewing project, and right now I've got 60-inch wide fabric, and it's only about 1.25 yards long. And see, when I bought this fabric about 5 or 6 years ago, I was a size 8 or size 10, and according to the pattern, it says that I need about 1 3/8 yards. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut my pattern pieces out. This is unwashed material too, because I pre-wash it to shrink it. So I have to decide whether I can do this. I may need to get another pattern. Jesus said only to spend money on food and bills, and I don't, which means, you see, this won't cost me anything because I already have the thread and the fabric. I bought this fabric like 4 or 5 years ago. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut the pattern pieces, lay it over the fabric, and see if I've got enough fabric. Even though I'm supposed to have 1 3/8, I might be able to get away with 1 1/4. Let me see if I can cheat. For size 12. Here's the pattern, and as you can see, I'm medium 12 to 14 here, and it says I need 1, and for 60-inch wide, okay, without the nap, which would be right here, because I don't have to worry about nap, that's 1 5/8. And I only have about 1 1/4. See, when I bought this several years ago, I was about size 10 or 8. So apparently I didn't spend a lot of money on material. It's too bad. I don't have to, I don't have to spend any money to get this shirt, but I do have to sew it. Let me go. I'm gonna see if I can cheat and get away with 1 1/4 inches. I'm gonna try. I mean, not 1 1/4 yards. What I'm doing right now is cutting out the pattern pieces that I'm going to need for this sewing project. Cutting it out to size 12, 14. Then I'm going to lay it out over the fabric and see if I have enough fabric. I've got to, the pattern pieces that I need to cut out, here's the cutting layouts. I'm doing top A. I only have enough fabric for top A anyway, so I got to do pattern number 4, right side up, back side up, pattern 3, 2, and 1. So I'm cutting those pieces out right now. I'm trying to get it to match with these pants that I made about 5 years ago. These are pants I made a long time. There's zipper, clip. It took me a month. Pockets. So what I'm trying to do is, I think that shirt would look beautiful with these pants, and I'm trying to, 1/4 of my clothes don't fit now because I've gained weight because of the Seroquel, and I'm trying to, give myself some more clothes that fit. And Jesus said only food and bills. But I bought this stuff 4 or 5 years ago, just been sitting in this box. So if I get to work, I can have some more clothes. This is going to be tricky. I've got just enough. Usually I pre-wash the fabric to pre-shrink it, but I'm afraid if I do that, I may not have enough. So I may skip that step. What I need to do now is make sure that the line here is right, that you get a piece of thread and you make sure that that you're going with the grain right. So I'll work on that now. It looks like I can make it, but I'm not going to. I usually pre-wash the fabric, and I'm not going to do that because I actually think size 12 might be a little too big for me. So if I wash it and it shrinks, it'll probably be the perfect size. So usually I pre-wash the fabric, but in this case, I don't know. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Because I'm really short on fabric here. So I was looking over my sewing book. I've got 2 sewing books here, and they don't recommend you skip the pre-washing. It probably won't shrink that much, even if it does shrink. So I am going to pre-wash it. Before I do that, I'm going to take out some, I think I better do that after I wash the fabric. No, let me just try taking out some. But what you do next is you get a piece of thread, and you make sure that this fabric, I'll show you. Let me just get going on it. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to establish where the real line of the grain is. And then I'm going to cut right down this way. And that way the fabric's going to fall straight and it won't fall lopsided. So you got to make sure This is called preparing the fabric. So you got to prepare the fabric before you start cutting. And so I'm going to have to cut right down here because that's where the line is, right down there. And I keep fluffing it and moving it and figuring out where it is. Oops, God, I need a big table. I don't have a good camera. Okay, making do with what I got here. What we're doing here is we're straightening. You have to determine exactly where the edge of the fabric is supposed to be so that the fabric falls right when you sew it. So what you do is you pull on a piece of thread and determine exactly where the edge of the fabric is supposed to be. And you get like, it's kind of hard. You can see right there, that's where the line's going. I'm going to pull it some more. See if I can get some more here. It takes a while. It's kind of time consuming, but just make sure your fabric falls right when you sew it so that you're, especially since I've got a bit of a bias cut in here, I want everything I want to find out where the real selvage is. Okay, and I'm finding out it's going in pretty deep here, so I'm hoping by doing this, I'm not giving myself less fabric to work with, but I do want it to fall right. See how it's, that's where the real line is, right there. So I'm going to do this all the way down, then I'm going to cut. Oh, it's moving, so God, I don't have a big enough table, nor do I have a very good camera, but that's where the real line is. So I'm going to cut right there. I'm going to do it on both sides so that I can make sure that I have the right edge here. This is where the real edge of the fabric is. That way you can make sure the material falls nicely in the finished product. Kind of hard to explain, but I found where the real line is, so let's go ahead and start cutting. I'm going to lose some fabric here, but it's, you know, you want the fabric to fall right. I'm going to take a good eye here. Here it is. Let's go ahead and pull on this so I can make sure I know exactly where to cut. Right there. Go ahead and start cutting right there. That's the real line. That's where the grain, that's where the fabric's supposed, the line's supposed, the cut's supposed to be. So I'll have a perfect fall on this. And I just kind of like pull threads here and cut so that I can make sure that I'm cutting on the grain. So this determines how, this is very important because you want your fabric to fall straight and not lopsided. So you need to make sure you're cutting, you know, on the true line of the fabric here. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm going to be doing this all the way down. I'm going to lose some fabric, but it really makes a difference in how it looks. All right, this is what I lost. I had to cut off this because now it's even. Now I've got an even edge. That's really important for the fall of the fabric. So now that I've got an even edge, I can see how, so now I can really see if I've got enough fabrics. I think I do. Like I said, I usually pre-wash. This is the true edge here. I found the true edge by doing that. Now let's see how the other side looks, because I've got the true edge. And then let's make sure that this is even here. I often pre-iron it too to straighten it out, but I'm really debating. I would like to pre-wash it, but let me just see if I'm really playing games with how much I've got here. Okay, on this side here, I only need to do that on one side. Once I figure out the true edge, then I know where the true edge is going to be on the other side. So basically, I just need to make sure this is all even here. And see, that's the advantage of having a cutting board like this. You can see exactly where the lines are. It would help if I had a bigger table. Okay, looks like over here, this one is cut a little uneven over here. The true edge is right here. Oh, goodness. Anyways, I'm going to have to cut it right over here to make sure it's straight where it needs to be, and then I'll make that the lines are going to be right. I know the true edge is right here, so as long as I keep it even and I cut on the line here, then this side's going to have, I can already figure out where the true edge is going to be here. So I'm going to follow this line and go all the way down, and then this side's going to be even, and then I'm going to be in business. Then I can either start. I'm doing this right now to determine whether I've got enough fabric. try to save as much fabric as I can. But yet make sure that the fabric falls right. Okay, let's just go ahead and cut this all the way down so I know where the two edges. So I'm going to cut it on that side. What I'm doing right now is I'm repinning the pattern pieces on here now that I know I've found the true edge to make sure that I still have enough fabric. And then I'm going to decide whether I'm going to wash this and risk shrinking it. Let's see. It would be better if I could. That's proper sewing procedure. Let me see. Number 2 is next. So what I'm going to do is pin all these pieces down and see how I'm doing as far as fabric. According to the pattern, you're supposed to have one. Tell because of the pattern layout that this is a bias cut shirt. That means the lines go like this when it falls, and that's actually an attractive cut on me. And I made a skirt that's bias cut, but when you have a bias cut pattern, it's very important you lay the pattern pieces down so that the fabrics will, the lines are going to be like this, which means it's going to fall kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but, and so anyways, whenever you lay your pattern pieces out, you need to lay it out just like they instruct on the pattern, or else your fabric's not going to fall right. This is going to be a bias cut. That means the lines are going like this. If it's not a bias cut, the lines go like that. So, okay, it looks like I'm going to be able to make this work, but it's a tight fit here. This is the pattern layout right there. Right there. What I'm going to do is take this piece here, take that piece here and put it down a little bit more because I've got some room at the bottom of the fabric. And then this I may cut somewhere else. I'm going to go ahead and pre-wash this. I'm going to have to bring piece number 1 a little bit further down. I'm not going to be able to follow their outline completely, but I'll still have the bias cut because I've got extra fabric down here. And then, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pre-wash this. I think I can make this work. I won't be able to follow their outline exactly, but it doesn't matter whether I follow their outline. The main thing is that the pattern, that the pieces get cut right, and I'll be able to do that by bringing 1 down and maybe moving 4 down and piece number 1 down and piece number 4 down because I have room down here, and then I'll be able to do it. Now I'm going to go ahead and wash everything. It's better pre-washed so I can pre-shrink the fabric. Well, guess what? I don't have the thread I need. I don't have turquoise color thread, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare this fabric too and find its true line. And then when I'm going to go to Walmart, there's a Walmart that has a fabric store, and I'm going to get me thread to match this darker blue, darker turquoise, and then thread to match this one. So what I'm going to do is prepare this fabric and find its true line. I'm going to wash both of these fabrics, and next time I go to Walmart, I'm going to get thread. So I'm not going to be able to start sewing until I get the thread, but I might go to Walmart on a Tuesday maybe. But, you know, it's going to take me a while to sew these, but I got to buy some thread. I don't think Jesus will mind me spending money on thread. So I'll get thread for this one and for that one.